Hello everyone, I wanted to do a video today on using the toolkit to compare different policy types with the toolkit. So what we're going to do is just look at the coverage type drop down here, and if you've ever used this before, you'll notice that if you put in any kind of medication or health condition, it'll actually gray out, so it'll make the box irrelevant. Now if you just want to get an overview of the total quotes for all the carriers in an area or a state, just don't enter anything here and we can use the drop down. So a feature that I think a lot of our users overlook is actually the limited pay feature. And if we want to level quote here, for the carriers that do offer limited pay options, you can see them always in the expand menu here. I think another carrier would be GPM. So you can always see them in the expand menu. However, if you're running a quote manually, you can actually just only see limited pay options, and this is something that can really help at the point of sale. Now let's take Sentinel Security Life up here. So for a 20 pay, and this is a 55-year-old Ohio male looking for $10,000, we have a rate of $42.64. Now let's go run this level. I have pretty much all the carriers turned on in my system here, so if we scroll down to $42.64, you can see that that's actually a pretty competitive rate. You're pretty much right at Trans Standard, you're below Ascendo Preferred, you're below Royal Neighbors. So that is, if you have someone who's maybe price sensitive and they're shopping other carriers, you can say, well, I have this great solution. Not only is it cheaper than some of these other carriers that you're looking at, you only have to pay for it for 20 years. And that can also help with retention in a lot of cases where a client's 5 years into a 20-year limited pay policy and they really don't want to give that up because they're at the end of it, they don't have to pay for it anymore. It's all paid up. Another feature that users don't always look at is when, for example, we're running a quote here. We'll just put in lisinopril. We will always show each company once. So even in this case where lisinopril for high blood pressure is not going to knock out any company that's otherwise available in that state, we'll still show you each company that you have turned on once. So Royal Arcanum, Gerber, these guaranteed issue graded policies will still show at the bottom. And remember, whenever we show you a limited pay or graded or a modified plan, we'll show you the parameters of that plan on the right side here. So it's always important to understand when you're quoting someone a plan, these graded and modified terms. We'll scroll back up here, and just for the sake of the argument, we will manually run a graded modified quote. And we'll take a look at, you can see Life Shield graded is ROP plus 10% for the first 2 years. AMM graded, pretty much any product 50 plus, in this case Golden Solution, is a 30, 70, 100 graded. You go over to Moo here, and they're ROP plus 10%, and they call theirs graded. And we'll just show one more. If you scroll down to Ascendo modified, they call theirs a modified, and they're actually modified, ROP plus 10%. So we always like to rehash that it's important to mouse over this whenever you see it come up. If you don't otherwise understand the plan that you're selling, you can see here Liberty is another weird one, where they actually increase the face amount for modified in years 5 and 6. So that's something that you can use at the point of sale, especially if you're selling a graded modified plan and that client might have really been looking for level. You can show them how the plan that you're showing stacks up against the competition and why you're recommending it for them. The last little feature I'll show on the quoter here is the payment type. So a lot of times we get messages asking, well, does the Social Security billing store mean that they take Direct Express? What does that mean? We actually have the Direct Express toggle right here. So you can see the companies that you have turned on that accept Direct Express, and that's not always a company that takes Social Security billing necessarily. These are the companies actually all the companies in the system that accept Social Security Direct Express cards for the time being. So again, if you guys have any questions about these features, you can always reach out to us on CRISP or via email here. And that was just a brief overview of comparing different policies in Insurance Toolkits.